So Verne Troyer, sort of obviously best known for playing Mini-Me in the Austin Powers movies, who's also Grip Hook in the Harry Potter films, and a number of other roles. Passed away this weekend, as of the time of this recording, as I'm sitting here talking about this now. It's not 100% clear the way that he passed away. However, his family's public statement. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna read it here. Hold on. Okay, so it says it's with great sadness and incredibly heavy hearts to write that Verne has passed away today. Of course, this was Saturday. Verne was an extremely caring individual. He wanted to make everyone smile, be happy, and laugh. Anybody in need, he would help to any extent possible. Verne hoped he made a positive change with the platform he had, worked towards spreading that message every day. It goes on a little bit later to say, Verne was also a fighter when it came to his own battles. Over the years, he struggled and fought some more. But unfortunately, this time was too much. Goes on to say, depression and suicide are very serious issues. You never know what kind of battle someone is going through inside. Be kind to one another. And always know it's never too late to reach out to someone for help. So very serious implications there that very well may have been that Mr. Troyer took his life, which is obviously very sad. Verne Troyer, I know, had struggled with alcoholism for a great period in his life, and certainly had his demons. I'm not going to focus on that in any real detail, especially I don't know the full details of what happened. I'm not going to speculate any further, other than to say that's what the family's statement kind of sounds like. That maybe he had purposely taken his own life, or certainly seemed to be moving in that direction. What I do want to say is the sort of impact that Verne Troyer had on my life. I was sort of right at the right age for those Austin Powers movies when they were coming out. The first one was released in 1997, and just right in the wheelhouse for me. I would have been about 8 years old at that point in time, and of course I would have been old enough to be into the Bond movies, and just old enough to sort of understand what Austin Powers was doing with those Bond movies, and how it was sort of playing with them. Of course, Verne Troyer arrived on the scene at first as Mini-Me in the second movie, Austin Powers and the Spy Who Shagged Me, in 99. So I would have been 10. Probably actually first saw those movies. Probably first saw them around the time that the second film was released. Probably, yeah, that feels about right. So I probably would have been 10, maybe 11, somewhere in that range where I was starting to watch those movies. PG-13, so it was super cool for me to be able to watch them, because I was watching something super mature or whatever. But I was just of the right age to understand, to be a real big fan of the Bond films, which I always have been. And then on top of that, to understand what Austin Powers is actually doing in terms of the parody. The Mini-Me character, of course, was basically a mute, just sort of made little like grunting noises or whatever. But really just some really like uproariously like hilarious scenes with I think in particular too, I think it was in Goldmember, maybe the third one, which wasn't the best of the Austin Powers movies by any stretch of the imagination, but there's this like scene where Austin is like packing a bag or unpacking a bag, and they do this thing with silhouettes every once in a while in these movies, and it's like kind of makes it look like Mini-Me's arm is Austin Powers' dick and all sorts of stuff. Like, it's just all sorts of weird little funny vignettes, and like honestly, like it's just you have these memories of this movie, and I don't know, just like it always just really made me smile. The joke was never like look at how small. I suppose like the joke was like, look at how small Mini-Me is, but it wasn't like, haha, look at this midget. It was, a miniature clone of Dr. Evil, and he was a little henchman, and he had agency and power and whatever. Like it was always really well done, and I think I always really enjoyed him as Mini-Me. Like I said, it was just like those movies came at just the right moment for them to really stick in the back of my head as being something really, really special. Goldmember notwithstanding. I think maybe the biggest shame of this is that we'll never really get to see a real reboot of this franchise. Like, because like you can't recast Mini-Me, you can't just recast that role. So it's kind of a shame. Like we may never see another Austin Powers movie as a result, because I wouldn't want them to recast Mini-Me. Mike Myers, who of course played the role of both Austin Powers and Dr. Evil, who obviously worked very closely with Verne, wrote in his official statement, Verne was the consummate professional and a beacon of positivity for those of us who had the honor of working with him. It is a sad day, but I hope he's in a better place. He will be greatly missed. And hear to that. Okay. I think that we're gonna take a step back here for a second. We'll come back. We'll end the show. Do the normal one-liner joke. But just I just wanted to make sure that I did recognize Verne Troyer. Rest in peace, my friend. Okay. Just last couple, the last couple of thoughts on this week's show. Like I said, I still haven't come up with a good name for the sort of end of show dump of information yet. I don't know, like the end of the show dump. It just feels right but wrong at the same time. I'm not really sure. Just a couple of things. I think I may have mentioned this before, but I'm really, really excited to hear of over in the Halifax Shopping Center getting a new burrito place. I mean, it's a known quantity on the Halifax food scene. It's going to be a habaneros in the food court, which basically means I'm going to be able to get a burrito anytime I want, which is really exciting. I love me some Mexican food, and I love me a good burrito. So I'm looking forward to being able to dip into that whenever I please. The other thing that has been coming up, I need to get the guy from Halifax Retails on here. If anybody knows him, if you think that he would be interested at all in being on this show, just let me know, because that would be cool. Follow him on Twitter, and seems like a very cool cat. From what I understand, he's just like a dude who just likes doing this stuff, and he has a day job otherwise, but he just likes to write about what restaurants and stores are coming into Halifax. He just is incredibly well, it's a weird tiny subset journalistic thing, but he's just really, really knowledgeable on that particular beat, which I'm all for. I think we need more stuff like that. There needs to be one of those for I don't know, just music venues or something. I don't know. That's a bad example because we have the coast, but whatever. There needs to be something like that. Anyhow, the point is that I read this at Halifax Retails this week. Halifax is getting a rage room. If you don't know what one of these are, it's basically a room where I think you either rent it by the time or the objects, or both. I think it's probably definitely the objects. But you go into this rage room and you are given clubs or whatever, and you just beat the crap out of old printers and stuff, and basically just destroy crap. I read about these, they're popular overseas. Never thought that we would get one here in Halifax, just because I figured that the the cost to insure a place like that must be astronomical. But here we are. It's going to exist. I think that once I know for sure that it is up and running and we can see some prices on it, I might just have to go and take a peek and give it a try, because you know what? You never know. You never know when you need that kind of rage relief. And honestly, I think that I could probably use a little bit of a catharsis on my end of things. Of course, still incredibly busy as I roll through my life. But hey, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, we're into the last year of me having to work and school at the same time. That is really exciting, and hopefully soon, I will be able to rest. Only have one project on the go at any given time. What a world that would be. But anyhow, I think that is if I'm correct, I think I hear the music starting to play, which means that this show was produced by me with music from Mom Plays Here. You can check them out at loyaltyfreakmusic.com. Also art by Skylar Greencorn, who you can check out at artstation.com/sgreencorn. You can follow the show on facebook.com/The John Dulong Show. Email into the show at johndulongShow@gmail.com. And you can follow me on social media at Jibberdy, Jiberdy. You can find the show in all the normal podcast places, or by going to johndulong.com. And if you could, make sure you rate and review, as that helps to get more folks listening. I always stumble over that. If you want to help support the show, you can go over to johndulong.com/Patreon, where you can get a number of great rewards, starting at just $1. Another great way that you can help out is to tell a friend about the show, get the word out. Of course, make sure that you yourself tune in every single Monday. Hey, we've been doing it for 6 months now. Every single Monday for your weekly dose of the Monday morning nonsense. 6 months. I don't know. I think we've got a pretty good show going on here. I'm looking forward to the next 6 months, and then we'll be at a year, and that's a real milestone. So, you know, it is what it is. So anyhow, for John Dulong, I'm John Dulong, and remember, if towels could tell jokes, they'd probably have a pretty dry sense of humor. Thanks. The problem with picking one of these one-liners, I have like a document of them. The problem is like you got to pick one-liners that fit sort of that little reminder sort of situation, but you also have to like make sure that you've given yourself enough time to get the whole one-liner out. I've got a good one about grocery store workers that I need to use, but I always misjudge how long it's going to take. So it's been sitting there for several weeks. Maybe next week we'll see. But for now, bye.